Okay. Hello? Testing, testing. Hello? All right. Testing, testing. Hello? All right. Testing, testing. All right. Here we go. All right, all right, all right. Here we go live. The show is starting. It's Ring Digital's ZOOMCAST. I'm Brian Ring. I'm going to bring you some news updates. We'll have a little storytelling. It'll be a little bit like a Periscope podcast. I also have a guest coming on the show, Stu Heimbold from Singular.live. We'll hope he shows up soon to my Zoom and pop right into the screen. I'm monitoring live streams across 3 different social platforms. Hopefully you're not experiencing too much of the delay and low quality encoding that I'm seeing. Might have to boost up the CPU. So this is all a big practice session. We're going to learn as we go here. Again, my name is Brian Ring. I'm going to give you some news in a minute or two. I also want to point out IRLchat.tv. That's partly what I'm doing this for, is to test out that platform. I'm actually experiencing a few bugs with it right now, but you can see the Twitter banners going across the screen. You should be able to chat and send messages to me. Right now I'm picking off Singular.live tweets. They're the star of the show today. And everything you see graphically on the screen is done by Singular Live. Everything else is on Zoom, our favorite, nation's favorite new video platform. And I can see I've got problems with the encoding here. So we'll have to work on that over time. Also, I've forgotten to turn off the audio. That's a little weird. So in fact, take 2 on that, right? I'm just gonna move the audio down. All right, now I'm coming at you live here on a Zoom call. Stu Heimbold from Singular Live is gonna join this call, and I'm actually taking that into the cloud on a cloud OBS, and I can see right now I'm just, so maybe that my GPU machine is chugging along. anyways, back to the show. We're live on LinkedIn. Hopefully you're tuning in, and if you want to pull out your IRLchat.tv control, you can participate in the show. Send me chats, send me emojis and GIFs. They're all at the bottom of IRLchat.tv. I would love to see GIFs and emojis come up, and I'm also going to be trying to monitor my LinkedIn at the same time. This is on LinkedIn Live, so hopefully you're watching this there. If you are, you can send me comments. I'm going to do my very best to respond to them. So far, I don't see any comments, and probably don't have that many viewers just yet. So, all right, let's get started with the news. So, first of all, again, show sponsored by IRLchat.tv. So this morning on Twitter, I woke up to see Rich Greenfield had made some really interesting noise around YouTube TV. Well, first of all, YouTube TV closed the deal with Viacom and CBS. It's going to carry all the Viacom channels. That makes YouTube TV really a complete television platform for the streaming era. And also, it has fantastic features like cloud DVR features, keep plays, catch up to live. It's got a great second screen experience in terms of stats. And also, as I've said in the past, YouTube has the best streaming quality of experience. They are experts. They've probably been at live streaming longer than almost anybody, except for maybe some of the MLB who was streaming subscription baseball in 2002. But YouTube's done a great job with their encoding platform. I'm Brian Ring. I'm here to share a few more pieces of news with you today, and then I'm also going to bring Stu Heimbold as a guest on the show. Stu works at Singular.live. Singular.live is the back-end cloud graphics platform that you're watching around the Zoom screen here. And so the news story of the week. I just realized that the LinkedIn stream is quite behind. So if you're watching this on LinkedIn, do me a favor, comment. I know all right, remember, this is practice, guys. So just an initial take. What I love about it. It's very liberating once you go live. So I'm gonna use this as the monitor platform. LinkedIn Live has quite a bit of latency. So news story of the week: Roku, right? Viacom, CBS just signed up with YouTube TV. Oops. But Roku is still the main leader, I would say, driver of OTT and streaming. Roku is the #1 platform. Some stats were released by Conviva recently. The share of viewing by Roku is up at 44%, and the share of Apple TV, by the way, for comparison, is down at 8%. And I think even the Fire TV, which is the #2 viewing share, is almost half of that 44% that Roku has achieved. So great for them, and they've announced yesterday the One View ad platform. So Roku's getting into the free linear streaming. Here's what's interesting. Roku is not thought about as a live linear TV platform. But the fact of the matter is, in the Roku channel, you have both video on demand features as well as live streaming features. So CBS News is on the Roku channel live TV, Yahoo Finance, essentially all the main live linear channels that you're going to find on Pluto TV, on Zumo, on Samsung Plus, on Vizio. They're also available on the Roku channel. And so I think with that and with the One View ad announcement, Roku already has done close to $500,000 in advertising on their platform last year. And so Roku is just a fantastic story of the week. And so that's what it is. We're going to play a little game here. I don't have my Zoom attendees, but here it is. I want to know how you feel about TV ads. Do you try to avoid them? Right? And I want you to tell me what your opinion is on that question. I also want you to think to yourself, what's your guess as to what Americans in general, U.S. population, internet population, right? So let's talk about the people in this country that have an internet subscription service, an ISP at home, etc., that allows them to get on bandwidth. Those people, who about 80% of the country, what's your guess about their opinion of TV ads? Okay, so this is the question. I posed this question to over 500 U.S. internet users. How do you feel about TV ads? Do you try to avoid them? And and again, what's your answer? And then what's your guess about the survey results? So what we found is that people don't like ads. That's obviously not news, but to watch the distribution, to look at the distribution of these viewers and how much they dislike ads. So you have basically 68% that either really hate them and actually pay money to avoid ads. They may subscribe to Netflix, and the ad-free nature of that experience might be exactly why they're paying money. Or 44%, which dislikes of ads, and they may attempt to avoid them, but not as stridently as those who dislike strongly TV ads. And then you have neutral, about 22% of the country. So about a fifth of the country is sort of a neutral on TV ads. Now, when I began, first learning about the television business many years ago, I learned about quintiles. So what are quintiles? Quintiles are really an essential feature of analysis of the TV and media marketplace, which is to say, quintiles is just a simple dividing up of TV viewers by the number of hours that they spend every day or every week viewing TV. You have very heavy TV viewers, and they have one set of behaviors, and on the other side of the platform, on the other side of the continuum, we have light TV viewers, and they also exhibit different streaming experiences. And so I think it's useful to think about TV as having different segments. And obviously, just like Marketing 101, you want to focus on the segments that are most valuable to you or that are attracted by your programming, your content, your user experiences. And you want to focus on those folks and make sure they're having the best experience, right? If you have light TV viewers and you're hammering them over the head with TV ads, you're probably not going to meet with much success. Another stat I put out last week, I just want to cover it briefly here. Casual fans, right? We talk about in the sports business, the avid fans and the casual fans. And so I just don't think there's such a thing as casual fans. There are people that like sports. I call them regular sports fans. And if the game is great, or teams are hot, or players are fun to watch, if their schedule allows, then if their budget enables them to go to the games, right? There's all kinds of factors that play into whether or not a sports fan is paying close attention to the games. Now, I did this survey because in the era of COVID here, we are going to have to figure out as sports professionals, as folks in this market, how we're going to get back to sports. And it's obviously going to be, fanless venues and things like that. It's all kinds of creative ways. But it basically caused me to think about a question. I wrote about this in a column for Next TV. There's the saying, absence makes the heart grow stronger. But also there's a saying, out of sight, out of mind. And so I posed the question in my head, and I thought about it. It's a great question for you guys to think about, is what's going to happen to sports? And basically, the reason I did this analysis is I'm figuring that the avid fans, for them, absence makes the heart grow stronger, right? There's going to be a tremendous amount of pent-up demand for live sports, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun to see avid fans that are willing to go to the stadium without a vaccine, for example. What kinds of things can they do? Being careful and being safe. Nobody doesn't want to be careful and safe, but could those super fans that are in stadiums that are maybe, let's say, only a quarter full, could they actually do some fun things while they're there and send, they can do it on their mobile phone and send those live feeds back into to home viewing environments? So we're going to see, I think, a lot of that. Now, for that 36%, those folks that are in the middle, what I call them the regular sports fans, I have a real question as to how we are going to keep their attention on sports. There have been so many things that have happened. The world has changed, etc. A lot of distractions. So I actually think that group is the one we should focus on, right? A lot of the existing sports business focuses on the avid fan, You need to focus on your existing customers, and those are your best customers, and no one would ever deny that. But if you have the world into three segments, the avid fans and the folks that aren't interested in sports, it's very clear to me that the swing voters here with respect to sports are regular sports fans, what previously are known as casual sports fans. Now, I actually wrote this piece, and I tweeted it to a very senior media researcher at ESPN. I'm very happy to say that this morning she got back to me, and she said that she agrees completely. We should not call them casual sports fans. There's no such thing, just regular sports fans that don't have a lot of time. Another piece of research I did recently, what fate RSNs? Obviously, a company like Sinclair has made a huge bet on the RSNs. The RSNs are a unique beast. They've been around for 2 decades. They essentially are, they're quite unique. And for many, many years, actually, you had to pay for your local RSNs. That's not the case anymore, but it's a little bit of work to call your cable operator and fight with them to take the RSNs off your bill, but it can be done. And increasingly, of course, RSNs are finding it difficult to get coverage. You see more and more blackouts, contract negotiations that get stalled and not blackouts, where the entire channel is blacked out based on a contract negotiation. So I did a study a couple of months ago. It's actually a 2-part. And again, just a classic Brian Ring consumer survey cocktail study, right? All of this is census adjusted. Most of the survey sample sizes are big enough for qualitative indications, and essentially ask the question, do you watch your local RSN? And I did that. I constructed that in a way that had that made logical sense, right? So I asked RSNs across the country, if you are an RSN, if you're Nesson in Boston, I asked you, I narrowed my survey on Massachusetts, right? And so what I found with the RSNs is pretty interesting. They're not all D2C equal, right? So in this pivot to D2C, the branding capabilities of the RSNs vary greatly. Nesson has crushed it. If you ask folks at a cocktail party in Massachusetts, have they watched Nesson in the last year? Do they know what Nesson is? About 40+% are going to say yeah. Now you go to Texas and you ask them about AT&T Houston, not very many people know about that, right? So another great RSN that in terms of branding and D2C capabilities is Sports Time Ohio. So that's another one. If you go into Ohio and ask folks about Sports Time Ohio, STO, the regional sports network for, I think, Cincinnati, then you will note that something like a third of the population has watched that channel in the last year. So again, much higher than other RSNs. This is where I give a shout out to Singular, but they're not here, so I'm going to move on and talk a little bit about IRL chat. So just what you're seeing at the bottom of the screen is I'm harvesting tweets off of the Singular Twitter, and I can do that off of with any search basically into Twitter. We can put that into the banners. You can also pull up the mobile web app and send me a message. You can change the color and font of that message, so it's quite fun. And then at the bottom of the page, you're going to see a bunch of emojis, right? These are PNGs. And if you click them, I'm going to do that right now, just so you can see what happens. You're going to see emojis pop up. And this is really, of course, you have to know what you're doing from a production perspective for this to work. Again, we're live. So that's pretty fun. And, you can imagine in an age of empty venues, we want to get families together, watching games together, playing games, having some fun. And that's really the only option we have at the moment, right? I don't know that fans are going to be in the stadium in the next couple of months, maybe by September, but that would be quite speculative. It seems to me that there's a fair amount of difficulty, at least not in California, right? Maybe certain states will have certain rules, and so we'll see what happens and how that moves forward. If you're interested in this technology, please reach out. This is a quick architecture diagram. Basically, you can take all kinds of assets into the system. We bring them into OBS in the cloud. We bring them into Singular in the cloud, and we bring Singular into OBS in the cloud. We push that out to Restream, and we hit multiple social platforms. So if you're trying to figure out how to multi-stream and make that multi-stream a little more interesting, please get in touch. And that's the show. We are going to have to do this again very soon. I appreciate you taking the time to pay attention. Send feedback.